So me and KOFFEE spoke, and it was a good conversation where I felt like I could actually speak my mind about the indie comics scene. And I genuinely vibe with people who speak their mind and speak truthfully on subjects. And I don't like pretending that every single indie comic is fantastic or amazing. Most comics in this scene have an element or an aspect about them which could become amazing eventually down the line. In fact, most indie comics are made for fun. So this isn't about those. It's about those who genuinely want to make a living from making comics. Like me. I want to make a great living at it. I want to make that FU money. And to do that, my level of thinking needs to go beyond empty compliments and validation and dig into the core of what makes comics sell. Not just get likes and comments on social media. I'm not pro level yet, so indie comics is my only path at the moment. So what KOFFEE talks about on his videos is basically what the idea behind my channel has been for years. But I haven't talked much about it yet because I've been trying to grow the audience. I didn't even know people wanted to hear truthful things until I heard KOFFEE speaking about those kinds of things and people responding to it, because it's very polarizing, the kinds of things that he's saying, and it makes people want to respond and engage with what he's saying. But to see him speak so fervently on the conditions of the industry showed me that people actually do want to hear the truth on some level. Your soul wants to hear it, even if your ego doesn't. So what exactly do I mean by evolved storytelling on and off the page? Well, it means that just as you create comics, you create your own life. And from the experience of life, you can create better stories. And like KOFFEE Comics says, you can extrapolate from your life experiences to make more grounded stories that have impact on people's lives. Basically, the point was, could my 12-year-old self, who dreamed about becoming a great man and a great comic artist, look at my adult self and say, wow, he actually did it. He really did it. Like, would he be proud of what I've become by the time I was 25, or by the time I was 36, by the time I was 40, 50? Did he become the man that he dreamt of becoming? Or did he let the world fold him up, do him in, demoralize him? And would my children and my wife be proud of all the work that I put in for them before I even ever met them? Would they be proud of the life that I set up for them? Because, and I'm not trying to take this in a religious route, I have to say that, but God made me to make comic books. It's like I can't do anything but make comic books or make animations or create art. And I've even tried to escape this destiny. I've tried to leave. I became homeless at certain points to try to escape this destiny and try to find something that I would be more interested in, like travel or boxing, other things, other avenues to try to make money. But life always guided me back towards the drawing board, and I couldn't stop myself. So I determined that if I was going to be drawing at the drawing board, how could I put my all and my best into creating comic books? And from that point on, I devoted all my energy and attention to becoming as good as I possibly could at drawing and at making comics. And I think that a lot of you have forgotten the adventure of life. You've forgotten your competitive spirit and your edge. The goal for all of us, as I see it, is financial freedom and creative freedom. And if you make it there, basically you win. There is no better or worse than someone else. There's only strengths and weaknesses and personal goals and your plans to make it to that summit, that height of creative and personal and financial freedom. Basically, the point of making comics was for me to do what I'm best at with all my might and get wealthy enough to go on adventures and create comics and art without the worry of money or financial burdens. I used to spend my days looking up net worth of various mangakas and comic artists just to prove to my parents that I could actually make a living at drawing, at creating comics. I didn't know what a living wage was at the time, but seeing Akira Toriyama's $17 million net worth gave me extreme hope that I had a shot if I just studied and worked hard enough. So I set myself to work learning Japanese, writing, drawing, animating, pouring my all into the craft of storytelling so I could be able to compete with Shonen Jump's standards, only to see that the industry that I entered eventually began to devolve from merit-based work to identity-based storytelling. You wake up and you want to do great things and you want to compete and make a living and be yourself, but then you begin to notice that the community is trying to distort and manipulate you against your natural inclinations as a man. In the Image days, the days of Image Comics, there used to be a real possibility to retire yourself and your parents using what you came up with from your mind, the skills of your own comics. And now it's just become a meek desire to just pay rent, just get by, make it to the next day, make it to the next year. The competitive spirit of the Image Comics boom, is it still here? One time, Todd McFarlane spoke at our school, but it was through a Zoom call, unfortunately, because it was during the COVID times. But everyone in the school could feel his energy coming off the screen. This guy, who was 60 years old, the de facto leader of the Image Comics boom, was still awake. He was still alive. And we could feel his energy more than we can feel even our own teacher's energy in the room. We would feel him speaking through the camera with audacity, with confidence, with advice, with wisdom. And that helped me understand that this is what created that environment in the Image Comics time. And I think that spirit is still here. But the thing is, the path isn't laid out before you. It isn't built in to the industry. The way the industry is going, it's like an animated corpse. It's going, but there's no hype or excitement behind what new thing is being created. Unless you're deep inside comics lore, deep inside the big two and what's happening, or the kinds of stories that are being created. We don't have an anime industrial complex in America. We have Hollywood. And we don't have the path laid out before us. But we can create it now for ourselves. KOFFEE's the type to tell you that your work sucks, you suck, and your breath stink. But I noticed he'll give credit where credit is due. If you're actually doing a good comic, it doesn't have to be the best drawn, it doesn't have to be the best written, but if he can notice that there's a point to the story that you're trying to create, he'll give you credit where it's due. Everyone can feel the tangible difference between a story that's well drawn and meaningless and a story that's rough in the drawing aspect but has a point to it, that is trying to teach the reader something, that's trying to be more than the sum of its parts. Me personally, I'll just sit back and watch. I'll watch you make your mistakes. I'll watch you name your comic wrong. I'll watch that panel thing that you did that didn't quite work out. I'll be watching. And when you trip up, I won't say anything. I'll let you make that mistake. And I'll mark it down and do my own thing better. I'll improve upon your mistakes. And whatever you do well, I'll look at that and smile. Very nice. I'm going to take that and I'm going to improve upon that and improve my comics to the point where now you look at my stuff and are learning from me. And on it'll go until we improve each other's work by looking at each other's work. Not at our videos on YouTube, not at our words and comments on social media. We try to outdo each other on the drawing board. And we find a way to make money for ourselves and for our families so that we can restore the energy that was lost in the comics industry and bring it back up to speed with the anime industry, with France's comic industry. I genuinely believe that we can actually bring that back if we find that spirit within ourselves and don't let society bring us down. But here's the rub. If KOFFEE says some true shit that pisses you off, and then I say some true shit in a nice way that pisses you off, then who are you really pissed at? You have to ask yourself, did you let your child self down? Did you give up before you got to the starting line? The path is there. You create it now. You're in charge, so go make it happen. Well, that's all for this video. It was a little intense, but you know, I got Air Rider. High School Hero. It is going on Kickstarter in March. If you sign up early, you can get a free sticker. Let me grab that. Got a few left. It's based on Sonic the Hedgehog. You've seen this one. Sonic Adventure 2, I think. I never actually played it, but Sonic Heroes was my jam as a kid. And yeah. Kickstarter's in March. Check it out. There's going to be a whole new cover, and we'll have, I think, 2 additional variant covers, but I won't announce who those are yet. And yeah, that'll be it from me. If you guys disagree or agree with anything that I said in the video, let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Peace.